Alright, I just finished one video of what not to do with your scraps, and now I'm going to do another one to show you how to finish up a couple of extras, like if you print extras for a project or whatever. So I'm going to start with these beautiful, it was a wedding card, and I ended up printing a couple of different ones because I had to put a whole sheet of paper through the printer, and so I just filled it up. So what I've done is I've taken an 8.5, or I've taken a 12 by 12, and I've cut it down to 4.5 by, or 4 1/4 by 8.5, and then I've scored in the middle, and then I'm going to run it through one of my dies, my die cutter, and try to get a nice easel piece out of this. So let me go ahead and score this one. It should be at 4 1/4. It's 4 1/4. Then I could move this off of my desk. My squeaky chair. My squeaky craft chair. Is that a good name for a channel? I'm not sure. Let's see. Just trying to get that lined up as good as I can. I grabbed the wrong bone folder. This isn't my favorite, but it'll do. Actually, it depends on what I'm doing. Sometimes it is my favorite. Let's see, I'm trying to line this up so I don't have to trim it. Well, I'm not going to have to trim it anyway because I'm going to run it through my die cutter. So let's find, these might be a little bit smaller, but that's okay. Although I think they'll be fine. Alright, so I think I'll just use the plain round one because otherwise I'm going to feel like I have to line this up, and I don't want to deal with that. So let me see if I can find my die. Alright, I had to search through my dies to find the right size because I'm just going to try to make it match, and I think I have found it. Yeah, so we'll use this one, and we'll cut these out. I'm going to line it up. I probably better get some tape because I cut those way too exact. So I'm just using some washi tape. I'm going to put it on my shirt just to remove a little bit of the stick. Okay. So, oops, I can't get it off my shirt. So I know I need to come or stay underneath that. And I want to come to that edge, and that's just going to do it. Okay, let's go this way. I'm trying not to move the piece. Make sure that it stays on the cardstock. And it looks like I just have managed that. So I'm going to run this through and I'll be right back. So I don't know if you can tell, but it didn't quite cut all the way through, so I'm going to run it through again. Normally I would just do this on the Cricut if I'm trying to create an easel, because then I can also get the score line in there and I don't have to worry about being so precise. But I didn't do that this time. I thought I'd try this. I have seen other people do it and they've done it successfully. So I'm just going to run it through again and hope that it comes all the way through there. Alright, looks like it worked this time. Let me remove my tape. Good thing I have fingernails. Doesn't usually get stuck down quite that good, but since I had to put an extra shim in there, really put a lot of pressure on it. And I don't care if it rips that paper, because that is going in the trash. If you watched my previous video, you may be wondering what I'm talking about. Well, I'll tell you, I've saved a lot of scraps over the years, and I didn't need to save them all. Okay, so it didn't cut all the way through. but I think I can just use my little fingertip knife here, since it made a pretty good impression here, and I can just follow that around. There we go. All right, trash. Anyway, like I said, I am no longer hanging on to all those scraps. I hope I hit record. I'm not sure if I did or not. I might have to stop and start again, because I did that the other day, and I just saw where one of the ladies that I watch, E with Scrapbooking with Me, did it too. When you start and stop and pause, you know, you kind of sometimes forget where you're at. And I think that might be what I've done. I've just got a little burr on here. I'm going to try and shave it off. It's not quite working. Scissors might be better. This seemed like a good idea. Turn it around this way so I can see that better. Just shave. There we go. And it's only because it was at the bottom of the card I felt like it would be really noticeable. Alright, so, and there's another piece over there. We'll figure that out. So, there we go. I have to put my score line in there, unless I just want it to plop open. And then it would be like a rocker card. That's an option. Now we'll do this one. So I'm just going to line this one up again. Actually, let's do it this way. Did I leave? I could probably leave a little bit more there. Yeah, that's probably good. Now normally I don't take these dies down, but when placement is so critical, because I haven't left myself any extra room, I do tape them. So let's try this again. Okay, I think this worked all right. Looks like it did. Let's get rid of this tape. I bought this pack of washi tape years ago, and it was an assortment, and there was a lot of cute stuff in there. It had unicorns and purples and pinks, but then it had this tape that's got little poops, smiley poop faces, and I'm like, what is that for? I mean, who would use that? Oh, looky there. Not me. So I finally found a use for it. So if you buy a package of washi tape and there's one in there that you just know you will never use, it usually works really good for this. But again, because I had to add an extra shim, and I've got 2 layers of cardstock, and I've got my metal shim in there all the time anyway, because I think I messed up the pressure on mine by trying to force too much through. So anyway, where was I going with all that? I don't remember. Oh yeah, so you know, if you've got some washi tapes that you're like, I bought this pack and this is the only one I don't like, or whatever, it is good for this, and normally it peels up much easier than this is doing. Oh look, that one all cut out completely. Perfect. All right, so put this one on here, and I might ink around the edges a little bit, just because in a few places that you can kind of see them, just because this was a different dye. Now what color would I ink it? I don't know. Maybe a soft green, or gosh, I don't know. Yeah, probably a soft green. So there's that. So we'll put these away. So I do need to put a score line in these. Put this back. Put this back before I stab myself. See, I've got this and I've got a scoreboard, but I'm not really happy with the scoreboard. I don't use it very often. So it's still got a little bit of a paper burr on there, but I'm just being picky. So if this is the front, and yeah, that's definitely a front. This is the front. That's where we want to score. And these are, well, they're not 4 1/4 because they're like 4 1/16. So I will do it right about, let's just center that up on 3. What do you think? And that's pretty low. We better do, yeah, we better do 3 1/2. And try to get that center. Maybe we just better go to 2, because then it lines up better. Okay, we'll do that. So scoring at 2. And I'll take this one. And the reason I said it lines up better is because there's a little lip, which you can hardly see, but it's just a little lip here, and then this whole ledge over here. And if you don't get that on that lip properly, then it doesn't line up properly. I mean, you could manually do it, but this is easier. So start out light, and then I just do a little bit heavier each time. All right, get rid of that. And we will fold, 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 fold. Give it a quick burnish. Do the same for this one. You can see they still didn't get quite, well, of course I didn't put the die in the same place on them either, so that's also it. So then when it's done, it will pop up like so, and there's room for your sentiment and some of that filigree I was talking about earlier, which is my idea of greenery and filigree. So there we've got those two. So I'm just going to glue those on the top for now, and I will finish them with a sentiment at a later date. And where did my glue go? Oh, there it is. Pardon my reach. Just cleaning out that nozzle. So I want to make sure I line this up right, because I think on the one that I actually gave for the wedding gift, it wasn't quite straight up and down. And you know what? Let's do it this way, because then it could rest on that fold line. So at least I can see it. And then I can push it up. Over a little bit. Just kind of trying to, I mean, probably nobody's even going to notice that but me, but just in case. So I'm just going to peel that up a little bit, try not to bend it, and then just glue it down, not going past that fold line. I've said this in some of my other videos, so if you've ever watched any of you know I love easel cards. Oh, there goes my neighbor. She's using her little scooter to go over and see her rooster. The community has some chickens behind us, and she moved in and brought her rooster. He's a pretty little guy. He likes to make a lot of noise. Anyway, if you saw my other videos, you know, I don't remember which video it was in, but I mentioned how much I love easel cards. I feel like they're just interactive and they're more fun, and you can do them in any shape, you know, in all honesty. See, it still doesn't look straight, but good enough. So there's one, and we'll get her on here. Let's just try it the same way. So that's straight up and down. I feel like her dress is straight up and down. So then we'll go this way. Yep, that's pretty good. Oh, I glued that on and I was going to ink around the edges. Well, I didn't, so I guess I'm not going to. So we're just going to do the same thing again, lift it up, find my score line, and not glue past it. Because if you do, it won't fold and it won't be an easel card. And this was the first time I tried this. I had watched Melody Lane, so I am going to tag Melody Lane Inspired in this video because she was very popular in the Cricut community. She did other crafts too, but that was her primary focus. And she taught a lot of people how to use their different Cricut machines, whether it was the new Cricut Joy or the Heat Press or the Maker, which I have now. The Explorer was what I started with. And anyway, she was just a lovely, cheerful, happy person who passed away in January of, or February maybe, of last year. And she was the one who inspired me to make my first easel card. And it was also round. It was kind of a flower, actually. What did I do with that? Oh, it was a retirement card for one of my husband's co-workers. And it was all in rose golds, and it was very nice. It was the first one I ever made. It was beautiful. Yeah, so there we go. 2 easel cards out of that box of scraps I've been saving. While I'm here, I'm just going to go ahead and put on my stickers. I do like to put my name on them. You don't have to. That's just something I like to do. I give everything away. I haven't sold any. It's just I make them for fun because I enjoy it, and I do like to include my information on there in case anybody has any questions. So far nobody has, but you know, you never know when that day might come. Okay, there it is. I need my tweezers. So I've talked about this in a previous video as well. My mother passed away in 2015, and that was a really hard year for our household. She lived with my husband and I, and she loved the color yellow, and I've never really cared for it. I've always been a blue, purple, even black kind of girl. But she loved yellow, and we've all loved butterflies, and so this was just one way I decided to remember her by, and she goes on the back of every card I make. Because my mother was a crafter, she did mostly crocheting and knitting, mostly crocheting, but she did a lot of other crafts. And I'm sure if it wasn't for her, I would not have found my love of crafting as a child. I probably would have eventually gotten there as an adult. But what a shame, what wasted years. So I am very grateful to my mother for introducing me to the crafting world. And my interests have taken me far and wide, let me tell you, over the years, far and wide. So anyway, those 2 are done, other than adding a sentiment and adding some greenery. That little burr of paper right there is just bugging me. There we go, there's 1 and 2. And now I'm a happy girl. Let's check this one while we're at it. Nope. Good. All right. So those are ready to be finished. Now this, I decided I would make this into a tag. And I have this extra piece here that was also in my bin that I thought I might use just to stiffen it up a little bit. Not sure I really need to. It's already on a cardstock, but it's a very thin cardstock. It's actually index weight, so it's really thin. So I think I will add it to this. Let me first, before I do that, let me see if I can find a tag die that will fit that. Oh, let me put my pen back in my glue. All right. I'll be right back. Alright, I found some different tag dies, and that's more square than rectangular. Yep, let's try this one then. This is new, I haven't even used it. Well, it's new because I haven't used it. Let's see. Ooh, there we go. That's kind of pretty. Or we could even do corner to corner there. I think I like it better like this. Yeah. And then, that's getting pretty small, but I bet you that would fit in there. But you know what? We're not going to do that. We're not keeping all this paper. All right, when we run that through. Oh, it helps though if you actually flip the die over. Yeah, I know that seems obvious, but sometimes you forget. That one took a second. I had to peel it up off of the, what is that, my scrapbook.com magic mat. I love that thing, but sometimes the cutout gets stuck in there. Okay, now that's cute. Now I'll find my stamp. It says to and from on the back. And there we have a cute Christmas tag. Could even put a little Merry Christmas across there. So that's done, and this, I'm not saving it. Bye-bye. All right, so put these back. Need to number these so I can put them in with the rest of them here. But until I do, I'll see, I did think I'd cut a tag out of this, but I don't have it covered with anything yet. I could dig out some of my Christmas paper, because I do need to do something with these cards as well. Let me grab well, let me put these away real quick, and then I'll grab my Christmas scraps and see what we can do here. Actually, I won't put these away, because if I'm going to cut tags out, I might want those. Alright, here's my Christmas scraps. There's a lot in here. I don't think I really want to pull everything out. I'm not going to use those. Those are actually full sheets of paper. That would need a lot more doctoring up, so I'm not going to use any of that. What else do I have in here? I was kind of looking for one piece that was big enough. Okay, so now that could work, because I can get the Winter Wonderland cut out there, and if it's the right size, I might even get the Joy to the World on there. So that's an option. Let's see. A lot of the same ones over and over, just in different sizes. Here's, oh, those are tagged, so I don't want to use those. Had some other Christmas papers. I am excited. I just recently refound a video that I had seen before but forgotten about, on how to use these foil leftovers. So this is the I don't know if this is the negative or positive. I guess this is the negative. The positive went on the original card. This is toner foil. So you run it through a laser printer on black ink, and you get that stick. So anyway, tricks I learned from Nancy Stamps, or Foiling Snobs Club, as the group is known. Anyway, you can also use black toner sheets. Well, I don't want to print black toner sheets. That's a lot of toner. It's a lot of mess. You could take it to a copy store. They probably would frown at you if you had them using up all of their toner to print black pieces of paper. But what I also found out, as a sewer, I told you I do a lot of different crafts. I have a whole bolt, what's left of a whole bolt, it's mostly a whole bolt, probably still 20 yards on it, of Heat and Bond Light. I need to iron that onto cardstock, the Heat and Bond Light, then peel the paper back and run this through my Mink machine. You could also use a laminator. And then I'll get a whole nother card, and this is the negative. So I just put whatever color cardstock I want behind there. I'd probably use white. And yeah, so that's another scrap I can use up. I'm getting this stuff used up. Week 43 is going to be the week of scraps. There's not going to be any particular theme. It's just going to be the week of scraps. And, oh, those might look nice on here. Find a way to, it's a little die to cut those out. And I don't know if you can see that. It's a red foil. I'm going to set that out there too. I might as well set this, well, I don't want to get the Heat and Bond out yet, but I will do that. And most of these are sentiments. There's some paper. That's not Christmas. Oh, no, that's Christmassy. I don't love it, but it's Christmassy. I don't remember why I bought it. I'm sure I had a reason for it. Now that's definitely a big enough piece as well. So, I'm sorry, this can't be a lot of fun for you watching me thumb through this pouch. I haven't used this piece yet, but honestly, this would make some lovely tags. It's like it's what it was designed for. So, I'm going to pull this out. I'm supposed to be getting stuff off my desk, not putting stuff on my desk, but since I have the dies out anyway, yeah, we're gonna work. Let's see, I really like the blue. Alright, let me set this down for a second. See what shapes I've got that I can work with here. I don't think I can use the biggest one, but maybe. Oh, that gets the Winter Wonderland and the Joy to the World. That's good. Okay, I like that. And by gluing it down, you won't see the back of that. So that's a possibility. I actually like that one a lot. These need to go back in the bin. I'm just going to put all these back in the bin for now. Or the pouch, I should say. Yeah, let's put all these back in that pouch for another time. And you know what? Because I'm cleaning off my desk, I'm going to put this one back too. But I think what I will do with it is I will do tags at some point, because I think that's perfect for that. And when I do that, hopefully by then I'll have the Heat and Bond out and I can use that up. Alright, so set this over here. I'm going to use my glue stick for this. I have a bigger glue stick. Oh, there it is. Let me get my somewhere. right in plain sight. This is an old Stampin' Up! Catalog. I've ripped the cover off of it, but I'm going to use it right now to do this, to glue this cardstock to this heavier, almost chipboard, but not quite. This little technique of just using an old catalog is something I'm pretty sure I picked up from E with Scrapbooking with Me. And the reason she does that is then she can throw the pages away or just close the page, and it will, you can move on to the next page, so that you're not having to constantly protect your work. I mean, you're still protecting your work surface, but it's just an easier way of doing it. So try and line that up as best I can, and burnish it down really well. I should let it dry a little bit, but I am too impatient. And then I can stamp my, I probably should have glued that on the other side though, because that's kind of the slick side, but I can stamp my sentiment on there. Or the to and from, or whatever. Alright, so let's line that up. I'm going to use a piece of tape because I don't want it to move. I think one will be good. So just stick it to my shirt to get a little sticky off of it. And then I move it up a little bit just so that snowflake is whole. Of course, if I move it down, I can get rid of, well, I can't get rid of all the words, so yeah, we'll move it back up. And that probably is good. And we'll go run this through the die cut machine. I think it cut out. Yeah, it's just taped down, so peel off the tape. So in the previous video that I just recorded an hour or two ago, I don't know when it will actually get uploaded, but I just recorded it. I had gone through my scrap bins, a couple of my scrap bins, and see if that punched out. There we go. Through a couple of my scrap bins, because I have my scraps in way too many places. I've got 3 bins of scraps on my wall over here that are just mostly strips. Then I had 2 bins under my desk over there, and then I've got a drawer full of folders over here, and then I had some more over here under in my rolling cart. So I decided I need to combine and reduce. I was trying to clean up, and that's how I discovered I had them in so many places. Gosh, I kind of feel like now this needs something on the back of it, because it did texture it, but I can always deal with that when the time comes, I guess. So now we've got a tag. So we've got 2 tags and 2 cards out of the scraps. And I mean, I could use, I'm not doing it. I'm throwing it away. In the trash she goes. And I'm going to just rip this page off since it's got, well, it's got glue on it, but it's mostly dried. And there we go. Move this back over. Get another use out of that. feel like I'm getting a sore throat. I hope I'm not coming down with something. Maybe it's just because I've been talking all day. One of our neighbor's friends called earlier, and I talked to him for quite a while. He was actually looking for my husband, but Dawn was outside staining the deck. So Noel and I had a nice long conversation. So it's probably, maybe I'm just thirsty. I hope that's all it is. I hate being sick. I especially hate a sore throat. That's something I've struggled with my whole life. Not that anybody cares. I should have put those away, but I'm going to save those because I got to figure out what I'm going to do with these. First of all, I need to square this one up. So let's do that. I moved my small cutter into a different slot, and I knew when I did it I was going to forget where I put it, and sure enough I did. Alright, so let's do that edge. Actually looks good, so let's do it this way. Just going to trim a little bit off, and just a little bit off of there. There we go. That's nice and square now. Oh, this could maybe use a little squared off across the bottom and the top. Oh, good thing I saw that. Otherwise I'd have had to dig this thing out again. And it just needs a little bit. A little more. There we go. Alright, so these are ready to be finished. So I'm going to pause the video, put these tag dies away because I don't need those. And then I'll figure out what I'm going to put on the front of these. Okay, I pulled out a couple of dies that might fit. Oh, that's just a little too big, but if I add a strip of lace, or I've got an icicle strip, but then it would be going in the wrong direction because icicles don't blow sideways unless maybe you're in North Dakota. I could just trim it off. It'll be fine. I do like that. That's about the right size, and then I've got room for a Merry Christmas. Whoops. Either Merry Christmas or Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays. So that's an option. So if that one's just a smidge too big, then this one's probably way too big. That's what I'm thinking. Oh, I got something on the back. Oh, that might work too. Okay, well, it is too big. But again, I mean, I envisioned cutting the lace out of white and this out of gold. But I could cut the lace out of green and this out of gold. And that would fit on there. It doesn't even have to be lace, just some kind of decorative border edge. Doesn't have to be lace. So that actually would work, and I feel like this is too small now. Yeah, that's too small. That was on the back of there. Let's lay that there, and I'll put that with it just so I know where it came from. I've also got, oh, actually, I think it's too big for this one. Yeah, it is. You'd have to go off the side, and I mean, you could do it. You just have to cut off part of your snowflake down there. But that could work. Or if it's going to be a card you want to open that way, then you could do it that way. So that could work. Okay, so those go in there. I also have these trees. I have some other ones, but these were the bigger ones. And I think this is beautiful. I usually cut it out in too flimsy a paper though, so I'm going to want to use a heavier cardstock, but wouldn't that be pretty cut out? And then you've got room for some options. I think I have some little dies, which even if I don't, how hard are they to make, for some gifts that I could put around here, or like a little deer laying down or something. And then, you know, your sentiment up there. Or you could even run your sentiment down the side here if you wanted to put Santa across the top. Well, there's some options here. All right. I need to go get a drink because I am really, really thirsty right now. I hope that's all it is. But I do like that one. I hope it cuts out nicely. I also have some angels that would probably fit on there really nicely. But I love the tree. And I still have, that means I'm going to have to glue some wrapping down on some cardstock, but it would be pretty. It would be really pretty. Okay. Yeah. Some ideas. All right. I'm going to pause this. I'm going to go get a drink and see if that doesn't help my throat. And then we'll come back and work on our next step. Trying to not make more scraps, but you know, that's almost impossible. But I am using up some scraps, so that's a good thing. You know what? I have a piece of blue that this would fit on. I just don't know if I'd like it with that red. So, all right, I'll be back.